Watercolor travel set by Funto Art Supplies. It all comes in this nice little felt bag. Comes with your swatch chart here and some watercolor paper. Comes with a little water bottle, an eraser, pencil sharpener, pencil, a fine liner, water brush, and this really cool travel paintbrush that you just take apart like that and put back together that way so it's secure when you travel. And of course here are our paints in this nice metal container. Has a little fold-out metal palette. Here are your pans here of your 12 different colors. And overall this is a great little set. Would make a wonderful gift. And let's go make a painting. So the first thing I noticed right away is just the quality of these paints. They're full pans, so the little plastic container is filled all the way up with paint, and each one is individually wrapped. And the only other watercolor set I've had like this was my Winsor & Newton set, and then my most expensive watercolor set, which is a brand from Germany. Starts with an S, I believe it's Skimmick. I know I'm saying it wrong, so sorry about that. But expensive brand from Germany, really nice watercolors. So start with the swatch card, try that out. I know you always hear me say that watercolor paints are super pigmented, but the biggest thing I noticed on this set is they are staining pigments, and what that means is once you put them down, they do not move, so you have to be kind of careful with your color choices. And here, using my Funto travel watercolor journal, which I really love the quality of this paper, and using the pencil that the set comes with, I started to sketch out an idea I have. May a few years ago seen a photo that went viral of a little lizard sleeping inside of a rose. Anybody's wondering, it's a little green anole, and I'd always wanted to draw that little lizard as a dragon, so I've had this in my head for a while. I go back and line my entire sketch with the fine liner that comes with the set, which the fine liner dried really quickly, which I was very happy with that, so I was able to line my entire sketch, and by the time I was done, I went back and erased my original pencil sketch, and it didn't blur or anything, which some pens you have to let them dry for an hour or so, or sometimes even overnight, to avoid that smudging, but this one was almost instantly dry, so it was great. And I tried something a little different here. I went and added my shadows first on some of the darkest areas, because in the original photo there were some really, really dark areas in the rose, and some areas that were so dark you couldn't even see some of the details of the lizard. This is a little different, a little backwards from the way I would normally do watercolors, but I just kind of wanted to try something different. And it's been a really long time since I've painted a rose, and I kind of lost some of my lines there. You see those two little red dots. That was actually supposed to be part of the lizard's tail, and I kind of forgot where I was going. And when I say staining pigments, that's what I mean. Like, I tried lifting that red back up with a clean brush, and most watercolors you can kind of get it to come back up. That was not budging. So I tried to kind of cover it up with some green later. I tried kind of covering up with some shadows, and that red was there. So, if this was a piece I was going to sell or for like a customer, I would have just started over at this point, because that red was not budging. But this was just for fun. This little journal is just something I'm doing for myself. I plan on making every illustration in this journal something like if I was going out in my garden and seeing some sort of like little magical creature. And here I'm going back with the included little travel brush and adding in some details. And the colors on this set, I will say, they do dry quite a bit lighter than what they appear. And that's kind of normal for watercolors. But like the green I was using, I didn't realize how almost neon green it was. So I do go back and darken it some. And in the original photo, there really wasn't much of a background. It was just kind of like a blurry photo in the background. So I just do kind of a blurry wash. Here I'm just darkening shadows and adding more highlights. The white that comes with the set, it's a kind of a typical watercolor white. It is not really bright, so I will probably go back with like a gel pen and add in a few brighter highlights. I kind of always do that with every watercolor paint that I use. And here I'm using the water brush to do like a wet on wet technique to just kind of fill in some color in the background. And again, when I say that the color is staining and doesn't want to move, even wet on wet, it was the same way. And when I started putting color down, it just does not go anywhere. And that's just normal for a staining pigment. And here I'm going back and adding more shadows, because in the original, the center of the rose was quite dark, because it's, the center of the rose, so that makes sense. And just darkening up things and adding a little bit more shadow here and there and some more highlights. And I would also maybe go back and finish this off with some colored pencil, but here's the quick little painting. And this is a wonderful set. I would definitely recommend it